How do we like that?
Ooh, fancy.
Hey, everybody, I'm Clever Like, and I'm here with Gatlin Shadow. How's it going, Gatlin?
Doing very well this evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So, we're really excited today to bring to you some coding exercises all this week, actually, Monday through Thursday. We've got some fun stuff in store. So, it's interesting, like our backgrounds. I started as a kid learning how to program and really just thirsting for more information and wanting to find like the specific answers to my questions. And I was able to seek that through collaboration with friends and obviously through school and things like that. I wish I had the internet back then. We had the telephone and manuals, and I remember we got three-way calling. It was great because I could have my friend on the phone and we can call like
Right.
random strangers that could help us learn how to code. I was determined. That was the one thing I remember is I was determined, and that's what I like to see in people that want to learn anything is a little bit of determination and that kind of can-do attitude. So you definitely have to bring that in whatever you do, whatever you're interested in. That's not something you can get really from anyone else, but hopefully you can be inspired by other people. And what I think is cool is how Gatlin is such an amazing artist and probably didn't have that urge for computers, but really gets into it now because it makes your world that much more amazing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because you're right. I'm not a computer person. Like my background comes from being an artist. I pulled a lot of bits and pieces from what my grandmother was always saying. She's like, here's something to play with, and here's something to draw with, and here's something to sculpt with, and here's like a bunch of pottery. And I was just like, all right, cool. I just like soaked it all up. Little did I know that I'd make play my entire life instead of working. I'm playing, constantly, and people want to pay me for it. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's build some things. Let's do this stuff. So my collaboration always came from, I can remember as a kid sitting down with my buddies and like, oh, we're all going to sit down and like draw together, right? So we'd go over to a friend's house and we'd bust out all the pencils and papers and we just like draw characters and worlds and little battles and make pew 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 sounds as we were like drawing stuff across the paper. Like it was totally our thing, right? It's fun little games we used to drawing. Like they're all coming back to me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so many years ago, like Clever like said, before the internet. I was like, oh yeah, we didn't. That was a totally different set of rules and games that we had. So yeah,
it's
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 changed quite a bit.
it's so great. Like we're going back to our childhood interests and dreams with our careers. And I think what we're excited about is that if you're really so first of all, if you're older, like I mean Gatlin's not old, but if you're old like me, it's never too late, right? First of all, to be interested in and pursue what you love. And then also if you're younger and just seeking your first career opportunities, I mean, my gosh, the opportunities are endless. The amount of possibilities that exist in your world today, if you pursue it, that's what we hope to do, is kind of show you different ways to learn new skills and find new interests, like the two of us, could come up through very different backgrounds and avenues, and kind of come together and collaborate in really special ways. So super awesome. So today we have Fortnite Creative on tap. So we're going to be doing some coding exercises in Fortnite Creative. We have created a few hours of code in Fortnite Creative. Let's see if I can dig up those links.
Well, I can dig them if you want to keep chatting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Take care of that.
I just want to make sure I want to make sure the stream is good, make sure we're not lagging and the audio is good. So anyone post a message in the chat if you have any bit of advice or feedback for us on that. But yeah, so we're gonna explore the 5 hours of code that I actually wrote with Steve Isaacs, who is now the education program manager at Epic Games, and really just totally crushing it with building, bringing his knack for bringing communities together and educators together and providing these opportunities for students. So it's it is awesome that he is now kind of with the team at Epic to make those things happen. Super cool. Yeah. The combo power.
Yeah, it's crazy, Ben. Like the ability to put these two together. I keep asking clever like thing. I'm like, how would I do a thing? He's like, oh, that's a for while loop. And I'm like, what did you just call me?
Don't make me come over there. Yeah. So one of the exercises I wanted to do to kind of kick this off, some of the things that have inspired me over the years are things like puzzles and also, and all kinds of coding activities and stuff like that. So I want to do a little puzzle with everyone. Are you cool with that?
Oh, buddy, puzzles. I can do puzzles.
Okay. All right. So there's all kinds of puzzles. I think like word searches for me were a big one. Were interesting because I found myself always kind of like coming up with new algorithms for searching. Okay, I'm going to look for this letter. I'm going to look for that letter, and I'm trying to search for patterns. And so I was very much engaging in this problem solving type of thinking through this puzzle rather than just kind of looking for a word, and I feel like that kind of thinking and the trying to find a solution and coming up with ways and trying new ways and seeing how they work is helpful. And it doesn't mean that like I'm an expert at it. It just means that this is kind of how I exercise my mind. And so when I'm presented with a new problem, I use a lot of that toolkit to try to find solutions. And a lot of times I find clever solutions. Look at me.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah. So I'm going to let's see if I could put one up on the screen here. And can I put us? Oops, I want to get this off. There we go. All right. Well, that's just.
Are we panicking in the background?
It just went too big. It just got too big. All right, let's do this one. I'm going to put us off to the side here, or hide us. Let's.
Maybe.
No, that's all me, baby. Yeah.
Mulligan.
All right. I'm trying. It's changing the background. That's my problem.
We can code, I promise you.
Yeah.
This technical stuff is different.
Yeah, I made it. I changed my. I loaded it into the backdrop. I'll bring it up on my screen share. How about that?
That'll work.
Sounds good. All right. So cool. Let me go back to this, and then we're still good. So I'm going to fire up my screen share, and do. So what we're going to do is we're going to review the hour of code activities. Did you have any success finding those in the doc?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the link that's in the chat, you could see if you go there, you're going to see not only lesson plans but also the 5 hours of code. So if you look for the different hour of code lessons, the conditional button is the exercise that we're going to be working on today. And so if I kind of follow that link, I'm going to go to the follow along here with you guys. There it is. Nice. All right, so I just want to make sure that's up and running.
Cool.
So,
and one of the things that's really cool about these lessons plans is that, a lot of the groundwork is already built. So it's kind of a turnkey kind of piece. Like, oh, here, like you can open this up and start to kind of work. Like you don't have to know an extensive amount about how Fortnite works and get it up and running. It does always help, of course. Every program that you run into, it's always good to get at least a little bit in there and break at least a few things. Break it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Breaking is good. So here I found the conditional statements. So we're going to click on that. And when you click in there, you could download the lesson plan. So if you're a teacher, the lesson plan is going to have all of your important stuff that you need to tell your administration and the people that you answer to about all of the standards that are being met with these activities and an overview of how it's going to go, as well as a rubric to kind of to measure the results of the students. And there's also a student guide and a teacher guide. So the teacher guide is the same as the student guide, except it's kind of like the answer key would be to a test, in that it's got little call outs for the teacher, like this is a good time to check with students on this, or if they're running into problems, little heads up and little insights along the way you could find in the teacher guide. Feel free to share the teacher guide with your students if you wish, if you want them to have that kind of narrative included. But if you want them straight to the lessons, they can focus on the student guide. And you can see it's really well laid out, tells you what items you're going to need, how to put them together, how to configure them. And what's cool about this coding inside of Fortnite Creative is that you're solving a problem. Like, I want to be able to unlock this door with a certain thing. Well, you're actually building a conditional statement. You don't even know it. And so that's kind of the cool thing, rather than saying this is an if statement and this is, and we force them to put together an if statement from a mechanical, syntactical standpoint. It's not resonating as much as, man, would you like to be able to control whether or not someone could access a room until they've met this other requirement? Like, yeah, that sounds cool. Well, that's an if statement. So building something like an escape room or any kind of test would fit that mold. So we're going to go through and we're going to build ourselves a little challenge. Gatlin, what do you think about us kind of making a little test for each other?
I don't know. I feel like your test is going to be harder than my test.
I don't know about that. I've seen some of your designs. They're pretty intimidating. They could be pretty intimidating.
Let's do it. I'm challenge accepted.
Okay, cool.
Let's do this.
All right, awesome.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
Oh boy, mark my words, people. There will be bloodshed tonight. All right. So before we get going into that, maybe I'm going to pull up
something I think puzzles.
Go ahead.
Another thing that's kind of cool about this is we're starting to play with these new bits that are inside of Fortnite Chapter 3. Like, I'm excited to see what's all in here. Like, this is super cool.
Oh yeah, Chapter 3 just dropped. This weekend the event was amazing. The whole island has changed. It was really exciting. The Fortnite brand, the Fortnite game is just absolutely amazing. Like, I just look at it in awe. I'm like, they made for their version release, they basically made a movie, like a in-game playable movie production. It's just for the update transition, which was super amazing. So obviously this kind of level of engagement as a platform, if you were to give it to students as a way to kind of learn and to demonstrate their learning, obviously they're going to be really motivated to do that. So I put a puzzle up on the screen. That's a Rebus puzzle. What I like about it is it kind of makes a phrase. So this is this picture translates to some phrase. And so you kind of look at it and start that process, like I was saying, like you're iterating through possible solutions. Not all of them are going to be good. And you start observing things. Okay, well, we have the word well. Okay, so we don't see water. Probably maybe doesn't have something to do with water. We look at the font. What do we notice about the font?
Sans serif.
Yeah, and what about the shape?
Very round.
Round. So you take well and round together, and you have well-rounded.
Oh my goodness, the puns are real.
It's not a pun. Yeah, I mean, it could be a pun. What about this one?
Oh, I see where we're going with this.
If you have an answer, throw it in chat.
Hey, welcome, Mr. Arbitson. Here's get your brain working, bro.
No, it's making you earn it. Okay, we have the word.
I think this has something to do with an early meal, or maybe just the first meal you have. It didn't even have to be early.
Yep.
Fast and Furious. There we go.
These things are all all could be possible answers as well as what I intended, which was breakfast, break
Fail,
fast.
fail fast. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, like a lot of good, alternate answers here for it. So that's the beauty of testing too. Like, yeah, I think you got thinking and came up with an answer, which is awesome. So.
It's almost like a Rorschach test. What is it that you see?
What I like about these puzzles is the more you do, the more you start to recognize a pattern, and so you're like, I see. This matches a pattern that I've seen before, and it helps you get the answer faster. And so I like, when you start doing these, and I have like 30 or something of them, so that I made for this purpose. So when you start seeing that repeating pattern, you should start catching on and solving faster. And I like to kind of like make that connection, like when you're learning things and trying to solve things, a lot of the information you're learning from the past, you're using that to apply or overlay onto your current problem, which seems simple and obvious, but it's good to point those things out.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if you've ever played Scribble Knots. For those that don't know what Scribble Knots is, it's an amazing game. It helps a lot of people with spelling, myself included. So you write out a word and it will like pop out, and that's what you use, that noun or that object or that thing, whatever it happens to be, like solve the puzzle to get from point A to point B. I was even just chatting with my students today. I was like, I couldn't tell you how many of those puzzles I figured out with just a ladder alone. Like, it was just a ladder. That's all I needed. So it was just the same thing over and over and over. But it was a pattern. I need to learn to spell another word, I think is what that means.
It's amazing. Yep. Creative problem solving. And I think what's cool about that is when you're making content inside of video games, you have to have a certain level of ingenuity, because it's always changing. It's not originally developed for you to make games. It's not necessarily a game platform. Like Unreal Engine is more of a game platform, but something like Fortnite Creative, Minecraft, other platforms, they were developed as a game first, and then were opened up as a development platform. And so that means the tools maybe aren't quite 100% what you would expect. So the rewards go to the creative people that find solutions in the context of what they have available.
Yeah, limitations breed ingenuity. It's
opportunity. Yeah. I love that. That's what I tell like people on our team. I'm like, I know it's not obvious and it's really difficult, and that's the great thing about it, is that it's not laid out. There's no answer that exists currently. We have to go find it, and if we do, we'll benefit from it and also be able to share it to the world. So I created this CSEdWeek world. You saw our trailer in the beginning, which was our Hour of Code demo island. So that's basically all of our Hour of Code activities implemented in a world that you can go and explore. So you could check out that Hour of Code demo island. That we have a link for that as well. We'll put that in the chat so you can go and access that demo island. This portal in Fortnite Creative mode, when you get into Creative, is in the Fortnite launcher, you'll come over here and see these little rifts that have this glowing golden portal on them. So I could see Gatlin has his there, and I have mine here because he's in my party. His shows up. By yourself, you'll just see this one. You could walk up to this console and interact with it to edit the different islands that you have available. You can have 50 islands. And so I've got this one island. I made it one of the new ones that just came out with chapter 3. So let's head on into it.
And his when you're in your own world, the rifts will be golden, and since I'm in Clever Like, so I see his actually as a blue, where he sees mine as a blue. So a bit of game design going in there that helps communicate what's actually happening, which is nice.
Some people I've talked to are colorblind, and that the gold doesn't help so much. So there are colorblind settings in Fortnite Creative. So if you do have that, you can check that out. And it's also kind of like the glowing portal on your right. So focus on that. Okay, I see you coming in.
Yep.
Cool. So here we are in this world. This world. Make sure you have permission for it first of all. Oh,
I don't have editing permissions yet.
now you do.
NNO, welcome, welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, NNO. So, it's one of our viewers, also a Minecraft marketplace creator. So we have this huge island. This is kind of a Coinday survival island. One of the new things they added. I didn't really think about this, but the timing is kind of interesting. They introduced caves for the first time, and another game out there just released caves recently as well. So this is some caves added to this survival island, and that just adds a new dynamic to it. What's interesting about this is that you're able to enter under the terrain. Normally, like, the terrain is the surface and you wouldn't be able to go into it as a player, but now they've provided gateways to get in through the terrain as a player. See, we're flying around, we're glowing. That means we have no collision. We could fly through anything without worry, but your players won't have that when they're playing the island. So, all right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the kind of like the hour of code lesson that we had talked about. So that one here is our conditional statements. And if you follow along with this guide, you can kind of match what we're doing here. So I'm going to use I'm going to get a conditional button device, an item spawner, a door with a frame in the galleries, a lock device, and a slurp fish. The slurp fish is going to be our key that unlocks the door. Okay, so what we're going to do is, Gatlin, do you have a place where you want to build? I'm sure you've been.
I'm already in the caves. I'm abusing this.
I figured you would. I wonder which cave you found. Okay.
So I am on, let's say, south. I'm on the southwest side.
Okay. All right. There's a cool one that's in the water. You can swim to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start building mine. Mr. Blapperus says, "You would not want to make Minecraft tutorials anymore." Matter of fact, tomorrow we'll be doing the Minecraft Hour of Code exercise, and we'll have the creators of that game joining us. So you'll be able to join us for a walkthrough of that Hour of Code. And then on Wednesday, we'll be live streaming the updated development progress of our a Minecraft world we're doing for Minecraft education called the Junior Solar Sprint, which is a solar vehicle competition that we're building inside of Minecraft. And then, super exciting, on Thursday, we're releasing or revealing a robotics development platform that we're creating for Unreal Engine with Epic Games. I'm so excited about that. Okay, so yeah, so I mean, we're focused on the games that people love to play, and helping you find ways to grow using them as creative tools. So that includes all of the great games out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my creative inventory, and you can see here what are the things. If you're unfamiliar with Fortnite Creative, it's amazing the amount of assets that are available that are pre-made. Now what's cool is that these are all pre-made, but they're like, think of them like Legos that you could buy fully assembled, because you could take them apart, rearrange them however you wish. So these prefabs are pre-built structures from their parts, which means you could access those parts and also benefit from having a complete structure built just like that. So I'm looking through some of these here. Castles, utility buildings, farming buildings, Oh man, yeah, that's cool. Arctic buildings. Look at this, kind of like a Swiss chalet type deal. Log cabins. The stacks. Oh, look at that! You can get yourself a little Ready Player One type deal going. So yes, some retail buildings. If you're familiar with Fortnite Creative, you start to know, you learn the different points of interest out there, and you can see on the left-hand side all the names of the different points of interest. So you could find the buildings that you are familiar with and that you love real easily if you know the names of the points of interest. But you don't have to be a Fortnite pro to get into this. So what's gonna? Oh, look at that! Like a little. This is cool. A little wood watch out. Maybe I'll use that. So I'm going to equip that, and I'm going to go back. Maybe I'll have like a lake watch out. So if I press, well, 1, and see here my watch out, I could kind of make sure that it's on the ground, and then place it, and there it is. It's kind of, I made it pretty annoying. Oh, look, there's little, these things, if they're not quite aligned right, you can just pick them up and move them. A lot of steps here, Gatlin. Sorry about that. I could have probably buried it a little lower or something like that just to make it less steps. I'm going to have to put a door. It's wide open at the top, so I'm going to have to put some sort of door at the bottom to get you into the stairs so you can get into the watchtower. So I have to make the watchtower kind of protected down at the bottom here. So let me show you how to do that. You see how we have these areas here that are blocking? Let's see if you can probably can figure out how to get in through those. So what we can do is kind of build some new walls here. So I'm going to go here, go to the galleries. And so the cool thing about the galleries is it's all the pieces, right? So you have all of the pieces all laid out in a row where you can assemble your own thing from those different parts. And so you find the theme that you want and grab those pieces to build the item you want. So let's see if I can say Weeping Woods. Let's see what's available in the wall gallery. Open. Okay, cool. So we have one that's got a door in it. I like that. We'll grab one of those, equip that, and then we have things that have like windows in them, which are kind of cool, and solid ones. So I'm going to equip that, and I'll equip one of these as well. Okay. So now I go back here, and if I pick I want my wall to be here. I'm going to make sure my grid snap is building as prop is turned off. And we'll take, yeah, let's try that now. Oh yeah, that's not going to work. So the cool thing about Grid Snap is when you get these building items, you put them on Grid Snap, they'll go ahead and connect it to the entire world grid. So as you're building with your building materials and other things, those objects will fit to Grid Snap. So we place this guy without Grid Snap. So what we're going to do is match that when we place the walls. So that's not a problem. So I'm going to go back. I'll turn my Grid Snap on. Oops, sorry. I turned my building as prop. And so that means this building material now is kind of freely floating just as a prop would be. So if I go ahead and just put that there, you can see we have the basis of that wall. Pick it up and move it. That looks pretty good. I can go ahead and lock it down here. I can take this guy and start to rotate it. And you can see kind of it's indicating how it's lining up. I'm just going to do a quick job of it. Mm-hmm. You can't get in here, Gatlin, unless you have the password. Okay, just let you know.
Is the password password?
It's on this sticky note under my keyboard. That's right.
Well, sweet. I
Right.
know where I'm going if I ever break into your house. Right there.
But you're right. It is password. So
Yeah. See, I knew it.
All right. So I'm going to place another wall here. And then maybe that one's a little crooked, but we'll let it go. We'll let it slide. We'll call it art. Sorry for what I just did to art right there.
What are you abusing over there?
Sorry about that. Yeah, that was wrong. I was not qualified to make that. All right. So we'll give you a little taste. Oh, and here. All right. So that'll be good enough for at least protecting us from getting in and out of there. Got our working door. Get to the watchtower. So it's been fortified, and we could work. We can go through a little more detail on this to kind of pretty it up. But I would say save that for after. Let's get into the prototype phase here. We're getting all the parts. Let's make sure we have a working system, and then we can start going and building more into that. So let's go gather our materials. So now we go into the devices tab. Now, the cool thing about the devices tab is like this is all the coding that you could do in Fortnite Creative. Basically, there's not like lines of code that you write. What you have is you have all these devices with different settings that you could place, and then you could configure them to talk to each other and to change and activate and deactivate as you need. It's really cool. It's a super interesting way to make coding available to somebody like on a console. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just kind of showing you all the different stuff there. I'm going to start gathering the materials from the lesson. So if I click on Marty, you are amazing. You're amazing.
Welcome, my friend. It's been a while.
Yeah. Talk about having good people to work with. Right there. I'm a lucky guy.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
It's late for you though. He's like, I'm working. You should be sleeping. All right. So what did we have to do? We had to get the item spawner, the lock device, and the conditional button. Let's grab the conditional button. If you're having trouble searching for finding things because the list has got so many things on it, you could search over on the left-hand side, or narrow based on the different categories. So you could explore the different categories of items as well through that. Okay. So I am going to go back here. Now the item spawner. You see me. I keep toggling my harvesting tool and my phone, so I have that kind of triggered by my mouse wheel button, and that's when you're in with the cell phone. That's kind of like your manipulation device. That's your world editing capability. So what we're gonna do. Can this water, is this swimmable? Yes, it's swimmable. Perfect. Cool game mechanics there, swimming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the galleries and I'm going to go into nature. Gatling gets to hear all the things I'm doing. So
Sportscasting like a boss.
might have to.
Yeah, I'm going to bed tomorrow. That's like 22 hours away. What are you doing? Talking crazy talk.
We're going to be showcasing some of his work on Wednesday. So no, so maybe he's feeling like he's got to outdo everybody. So check this out with the props. You could take the prop and you could scale it up, scale it down. You can rotate it on all the axes. It's super capable. You can scale it on, disproportionately. So what I'm going to do is this little boulder here. Now, if you want to make it look more normal, you can make a little rock pile. Okay, and so we've got now 3. Oops, no. I gotta go back to my item spawner. That 3. Place now. So I'm gonna put the item spawner here. Everybody, don't tell Gatlin where it is.
What? It's weird.
Nothing. Everything's fine. Mind your business. So the thing we need, this is a really cool mechanic. So check out this game mechanic here. When you think about like, how am I going to load up this item? So I need this item spawner to spawn things. Like, how am I going to tell it what to spawn? So check this out. I'm going to find a slurp fish. And maybe he'll be tempted to eat the slurp fish, but he'll have to use it. So I'm going to equip it. And now I'm going to, I'll throw it on there. Pick it back up. Here. Play. Drop it. See how that works. There we go. So I dropped it on the device, and the device picked it up and loaded it in. So Slurpfish has been loaded as the item that is spawned for the player. So that's super cool. That's going to be our key that gets you in the door. Not going to configure that yet. Gatlin, you want to have channels? Do you want me to send the player to you on channel 10 and you send them back to me on channel 20?
Yeah, we can do that.
So yeah, you send to me on. So why don't you send to me on 1 and I'll send to you on 10?
Okay, do that.
You'll need a portal there that receives me, the player, on 10. Okay. So let's get these other pieces wired up here. So the next thing I want to do is I'll put the lock device on, because the lock device, oh, look at that. Ooh, the lock device has its own little cube volume now, so you can see what's front and back a little better. You can see my movement is really fast. So what I could do is I could lower my flight speed. This applies to a lot of the stuff that we teach. If you're finding that it's too hard to, if your body movement aligns your objects, you're finding it difficult, then chances are your movement speed is too fast. So you want to slow down your movement speed so that you're not as frustrated with the process. So it can be frustrating if you're too fast trying to do precise work. I mean, that applies to anything in life, right? So our places. There for now. Up. All right. So you could see this lock device. Once it got close to the door, it turned blue. If I take a copy of this and place it over here, you'll see it's red. So when it's blue, that means it's connected to a door that has a wall that has a door that it can control. right? So this is now the blue one is something that controls the door that's attached to this wall just by putting them together. And we'll get that all. What we're going to do is connect all the wires on these once we have the pieces in place. So now I'm going to get my conditional button. Conditional button will think of this as kind of like your card key scanner to get into a building. And so like I'll put it close to the door. This the lock device, I'm going to make that hidden, so you're not going to actually see it. If you want to, you could put it anywhere on this wall. It doesn't matter. It's even buried into the wall, and that's fine, with the exception of you want to be able to see it. That's the only issue, burying it in the wall like I just did there. So if you do something dumb like that, you can easily move your walls. There we go. New one. Okay. So I've got my conditional button, I have my item spawner, and I have my lock device. Those are the core elements that we have. I guess one of the things that we're building here today is kind of like a connected situation. So we want to bring the player to us when the channel 1 is triggered. So I'm going to have this teleporter. I'm going to place it. See the teleporter, if I rotate it, you could kind of see this little pointing to the right now towards the door. That pointy is kind of like the direction of the portal. So you can see it's pointing like right at the door, which is cool. That's how the player will spawn in. And what we're going to do is we're going to say teleporter rift visible. I'm going to say no. And I am going to expand the options to all of the options. And basically, I'm going to teleport the player to this portal when there's an action triggered on channel 1. So teleport 2 when receiving from channel 1. And Gatlin's going to do one that's teleported to it when receiving from channel 10, which sends us to his area that he's building. Okay, so the player will enter right here. They'll see this conditional button. Remember what we did with the slurpfish? We have to do the same thing with this button. We're programming the button. What does it need in order to access the for the condition to be true or false? This is our conditional statement. So it says, if slurpfish is given to me, then true. Otherwise, false, or you can't get in. And we'll program the true to unlock the door. So we'll go back to play, and then let's see if we can drop this out here. Cool. So you see it got picked up by the conditional button, and the picture shows 1 slurpfish is the cost of entry, essentially. Cool. So what we're going to do is what I'll do is I'll use like 5 to unlock when this lock device, which is controlling our door, we could set the initial position to be closed. Is it visible during the game? Remember, we were going to turn that off, so I'm turning that off. Is the door locked? Yes. So when the game starts, the door will close and lock for sure because of this device on there. Okay. Hide interaction when locked. That is like you can walk up to the door and not see any interactable menu. Like it won't tell you that it's locked. It'll just look like a door. But in this case, I'd like to show you that it's locked, so you're kind of motivated to unlock it. Unlock when receiving from, and we'll have this trigger on channel 5. And I'll also open it as well, so the player knows. So when channel 5 gets a signal, this door is going to open, and it's going to unlock and open. That's what we just set this device to do, and this device will be invisible during the game. And then we have our customized conditional button. So here, what we're going to do now is we're going to make this button trigger when it's successful. It's going to trigger on channel 5. So interact text, unlock, missing items text, need slurp fish, unlock. So you could put a message in there that'll display. Changing the colors. The interact time, that's kind of an interesting one. So whether if you interact with it, it happens right away, or you have to hold for a certain amount of time. So I like to use this for if you want the player to really know that they're kind of moving on to the next step and they want to confirm. So I'll make this I'll give a 3-second interact time on this one. It could be used by anybody. Show the key. All these cool settings here. Enable that game start. Yes, visible. Yeah. Interaction radius is like basically how close you have to be to this button for the user to be able to interact with it, which is kind of like what's cool is you can make this button invisible and put some other object in place. And so when the player walks up to that object, it'll be in the interaction radius. So they'll think they're interacting with this object. So if we put like a canoe or something and said, hey, search the canoe for the key or something like that, or the hidden switch or the bookshelf, you can make the bookshelf unlock the door using something like the interaction radius and a hidden device, which is kind of cool. Triggered by sequencers. We do have a lesson about sequencers that teaches you how to make music. You can learn about how sequencers work. Also functions as well. Enable when receiving, activate when receiving, when activated, transmit on. Okay, cool. So when activated, transmit on channel 5. You could also say like when not enough items, transmit on. So just for the heck of it, I'll make that 4 just in case. Okay. Now we have to give our key. Customize this guy. So items respawn, we'll have that on. Is the base visible in the game? I'll turn that off so you can't see the base. And run over to pick up. We'll make that on just so you can swim right past it and scoop it up. Change the item scale, enable that start, spawn continuously. Spawn continuously, think about like these games, like things like, you know, Bed Wars and stuff like that, where you have these money generators that just keep running at a certain pace. That's kind of like what you can do with this item spawner. You could just make it continuously accumulate materials rather than only having one that gets replaced after it's taken. So you could do either of those functionalities with this. Spawn item when receiving from, when picked up, transmit on. So I don't think we really have to worry about anything. I think there's time before first spawn is 10 seconds. Let's just make that 1 second, just to, not that that's going to matter too much, but 1 second into the game, a slurp fish is going to appear here. That slurp fish is going to be responsible for unlocking, triggering this conditional button to work. When this conditional button, when the condition, which is, does the player have a slurp fish? When that condition is met, then it's true. And on a true statement, we're sending a signal to this device to unlock the door and open it. And then what we could do up here is send the player back to Gatlin's little test. So what I'm going to do is here, grab a button. I'm not paying attention. There's the button. So I'm going to place the button right here. I won't tell everybody where it is. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna make the button invisible, but it's going to have an interaction radius of like a meter. So when you get close to it, it's going to prompt you to do that. And if you do that, it's going to trigger the button. And then when interact with, transmit on, and 10 is going to send me to Gatlin's portal. So when you come up here and interact, see, that's cool. It visually shows you the radius. That once you're inside, let's make that bigger. I don't think that's big enough. I'm glad it shows you. So that's the maximum. Yes. Yeah. Gatlin, how are you doing?
Yeah, getting there.
Okay. So tell me when you're done. I'm going to implement one more thing. I want to show you guys a little bonus feature. So if you are doing the hour of code, this is kind of like the basics for it. What I'm going to show you is some bonus extension things that I think are really valuable. So one of them is the HUD message device. HUD is an acronym for heads up display. So the HUD message device is going to display text on screen. And then also we have the speaker audio, the speaker device. I'll place that now. And remember I put on channel 4, I said that's if they give me the wrong, if they come to me without the item, I'll play on channel 4. So on this guy, I'm going to say like failure 2. And we're going to activate when receiving from channel 4. We'll play it at the location of the device. It could be heard by instigators only, which would be the player that triggered the button, which is cool. It's not visible. Activate on hit, retrigger behavior is like if it gets triggered over and over again, it'll ignore the retriggers while it's playing. Sound distance medium, I think that's fine. Volume medium. We'll make it loud, see what happens here. So that's the sound that it makes. If believe it or not, if you hit the speaker, it makes the sound. Game over. Oh, that's such a good sound. Such a good sound. Scare, success. Let's try that one. Ooh. There's lots of scary sounds in here, so you can definitely do a lot of cool stuff. Oh, there's an unlock. We'll have to check that one out.
All right. So to make sure we're all on the same page, let's run through who's sending who to when and where.
Okay. When you have you'll set up a portal that's when activated, teleport the player to it.
So activate when receiving from is what I'm looking for.
What you want is, I'll go to the setting, teleport to when receiving from.
Teleport to from receiving from. Okay. So I'm
And
sending.
that should be 10. When it receives from 10, it'll send the player there.
Right.
And then kind of like inside of your locked area, you should have a button that triggers channel 1 that just, when activated, transmit on channel 1. And that'll send the player back.
Right. Double checking. Transmit on channel 1. Make sure I don't have my loops wrong. Ooh, buddy.
Infinite loops. It's a thing. Okay. I'm going to use the unlock sound when channel 5 by the instigator only. And I'm going to throw HUD message in there as well, so you can see what that looks like. This is going to be invisible during the game. So this one could be each slurpfish, and that will time round start, so don't start it at all. Display time, text style, we'll keep it as default. Message priority, placement bottom center, we'll make it top center. It's not visible during the game. I want to show the message, which is the failure message when receiving from channel 4. This guy. To the watchtower. And we won't make that run automatically. We will display for 5 seconds, default message. We'll do top center and show when receiving from channel 5 because that's the correct channel. All right. Cool. How we doing? Oh, the other thing I'm going to do for you guys, since he's sending people to me on channel 1, I could reset all this so that the player can start again. So I'm going to lock when you start on 1 and close it on channel 1, and then reset when receiving from 1. I think the slurpfish will automatically regenerate after they take it. So there should always be a slurpfish waiting here. Item respawns on. Time between spawns is 10 seconds. Okay, so 10 seconds after you take the slurpfish, there'll be a new one waiting for you. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to test. I'm going to put down some player spawners. So with the player spawn pad, this will be, you can configure it basically which way it's facing and which players come in on that spawn pad and where they're located. So you can have a bunch of players kind of coming in from different locations on there. Visible during game, play audio. I'm not going to mess with the settings and see what happens by default. How you doing, Galen?
Pretty good.
Ready?
I think.
So maybe if we get to do some troubleshooting, it's not a problem.
It's. I don't think it's the code that's the problem. Oh yeah, do you have a person spawner over there? So I pop up or
Yeah, we'll show up here.
Okay, cool. Let's make sure we got this. Okay, I think it's
ready for test.
I mean, don't know until we break it.
Okay, let's try. This is one of my favorite parts about computers. Is like you make a good plan, you put your best effort, but you can just run it to get the answer, which is
it's gonna do what you tell it.
Kind of nice, yeah. Let's see if we end up on the spawn pad. That's my hope. Oh, I didn't do some of the optimization. There's ways to kind of cut out some of this extra time.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello. Well, all right. So why don't you head over?
I need a fish. Something way out there in the water. Why is this out in the water?
My flight speed was 5.
See if you can get close by. Anything
I'll throw it to you.
We'll go out in front of the. Oh, good lord. Good. That's cool. Going for it. Ugh. That's what I call teamwork.
Yeah, spacebar does like a dolphin jump.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Hold on.
Wait, holding, waiting.
We're heading over to see you. All right. Locked, and you're going to interact with it.
Wait, foreheads. Welcome to the watchtower. Very nice.
Nice.
Any zombies up here, are there?
I know you like the spawners. I'm sure we're gonna have some wildlife when we get into your world.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird. Why would you say that?
Yeah, so you have to look around.
Jump into the fridge. My hips are not built for that. What are you?
In the fridge. Oh, he's gone. Let me jump into the fridge. Oh, cool. It worked. I hear your frogs already. Ooh, cool cave. Look at that. Cool design. Okay, I'm going to pick up this cool little shard here. Nice. Wow. Oh, man. I love that, dude. That design is great. The enter is crystal clear. Nice. Oh. Can we die?
I don't know.
Oh, they go crazy. Look at my. Oh, no. So funny. These little guys, you really have to chase them. You really have to chase them. All right, like a fox, clever like a fox. And we're back. Look at that. Look at us. And I reset. My slurpfish is back, and this is reset. Oh crud! I ran into the portal even though it's invisible. I'm gonna come back and be careful of that portal. Yeah. It's reset, so you can't go back in without the slurpfish again. So let's see. Let me see you do that dolphin.
Yeah, hay bales indeed. That's true. One of my favorite games has got an update to it, so I'm waiting to check that out. This game's got an awesome update. Waiting to check that. There's just too many games. I can't keep doing this.
Do your jump. Let's see your porpoise. Let's see you porpoising. Yeah. Whoa. There you go. Love this animation. They just added sliding to the chapter 3. They added sliding, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Do you know how to slide? Because I don't know how to slide.
It's not in
Creative.
Well, it actually is in Creative. They gave a lot of brand new stuff from Battle Royale to Creative it's really the first time that they've kind of simultaneously released, which is pretty awesome. So you can see this little grid that just shows up on the ground when we start is kind of like our memory management. It's you could have a certain amount of memory, a certain amount of objects based in a certain area of the map. So it kind of shows you with hotspots basically where you're running low on memory, but since there's render distances, they can turn things on and off. You can have lots of objects on this entire island because they're not all rendered at once, which is really cool. Sliding. Let's see if the sliding mechanic works. Where is that?
Anybody in the chat got it?
Oh. Sliding on back. Let's see. Yeah, buddy. Ready? Here I come. Oh. Left control while you're sprinting.
So you
got to be in sprint mode and then hold down left control while you're still running forward. Oh, interesting.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
That is wow. What happens when you slide in the water?
You could actually build. You can actually build while you're sliding too. I saw that. I have to try it down a hill.
Well, you're like stuck in that animation for a while, even.
It does, yeah. You kind of have to like jump out of it. All right, I'm gonna try to build. Woohoo! Oh, that's awesome. That's going to add a lot of fun to the game for sure. For sure.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
that's cool. That worked. That ended up working out really well. So we got to show some of the different messaging, like the heads up messaging device. You got to see Gatlin's cool building, way cooler than mine. Um, and the conditional. And we have other exercises if we kind of head back to the lessons over here, back to the lesson plans. Let's have a quick peek at some of these. Right. So we have building a treasure hunt race, which is kind of showing variables, like the score is a variable, and we're using elements like pickup elements to add to your score or subtract from your score and modify that variable. So I wanted to kind of help you think of a variable as something familiar to you, like a score. And you can manipulate that variable throughout time, and it's useful for things like the game is always checking to see, like, did somebody win? Like, does somebody have a high enough score for the game to be over? So the game is using that variable called score to see if the game is over, and you're changing the value of that score through different interactions of the game. And it's very much how variables work. It's a value, it's a shared value that you could check and also change throughout the game to trigger different things from happening. So that's a really cool one. And then we have building an obstacle course. Death runs are hugely popular, and what we try to show in this one is collision detection. And because collision detection is super important, like the fact that you're in a virtual world interacting with solid surfaces and physics and all this other stuff, it exists because of collisions. There's no physical device in the game. You have to kind of draw the object. The geometry has to have some attributes. They have to interact with each other to know that they're solid or invisible. And so collision detection is an important thing, and a fun way to experiment with it is using obstacle courses or death runs. And so we show you all the different aspects of collision detection and put it together in a fun way. And so we have the conditional statements, which we just did, which was a lot of fun. And there's there's lesson plans here that you can pick that are not hour of code, but there are things like Rube Goldberg created an alternate ending for a book, as a an English class could use that. Design. Let's see. There's other things like early settlers, like a social studies class could use it to kind of have the students build what they would what their settlement would look like and why and what they would need. And they can build a full role play in there. We have in the hour of code, we have functions in Fortnite. So we're using a sequencer to go through a series of questions. And so you have a correct answer and a wrong answer. And there's a bunch of things that happen when you have the wrong answer and when you have the right answer. And so that's the idea of a function. A function kind of packs a whole bunch of steps into one simple command. So you could tell your button right answer or wrong answer, and the functions could run all of the different information that you needed to display. So understanding what a function is and how it works and putting it to use is how that gets done in a stacked trivia tower kind of concept. And then creating music with loops using the sequencer. Sequencer is used in functions as well as on this one, and so the sequencer is just this. It's just a long rectangular volume that you can that has a pulse wave running through it, and that pulse wave triggers anything in its path. And so you can put music note blocks in its path, control its tempo, and it will play that music for you. So it's pretty cool that you can create your own music. Some really amazing music has been made in Fortnite Creative, by the way. So if you take the time and have the skill and patience, you can create some great results. So those are some of the hour of code activities that you can do that we published. And then future learning, there's more lessons in this library, as well as I saw on Twitter one of our teachers that we've trained in the past made a lesson on basically chemistry, building polymers inside of Fortnite Creative, which is pretty cool.
What?
Yeah,
I missed that one.
yeah, Scott Bader. It's on Twitter. So he gave students the option. So if you're a teacher, what he did was he gave students the option and then had them get a permission slip, so that it was approved by the school, and then they used their esports lab to have Fortnite Creative for the students that had permission to do it. Got to do that. Other kids would have like toothpicks and clay. Go old school. Hey, it's all good. Clay is cool, right?
That's awesome. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So those are some of the things. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about we're going to be running through the Minecraft hour code, which is really really fun. It's called Timecraft. Basically, the concept is that it's pretty funny. Like
It's super cute. Oh my god, I love it.
there's been these splits in time where things that we know today to be super important, monumental in our history are ruined by something that went back in time, and you have to travel and fix it so that history is as we know it instead of something silly. So we're going to
do a little research. Do some history research. There's some pretty cool characters that they don't name, but you can totally tell who they are. Like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely right. So the extension activities in that map are kind of fun, right? Where you can learn about the other the people that you helped as well as the other ones in the map. So that's kind of cool. Nice. All right. Cool. Well, I gave us an hour and a half. I don't think we have to use the full time unless we have something else we want to show. Do we have anything else on the roster that we should that people might want to know?
I'm trying to make a Rube Goldberg machine right now. Actually, so I'm not having a lot of luck. I may need some assistance here. And go down the thing. Why aren't you doing the thing?
You in your cave?
I'm in my cave. Yes. It's like I think I'm running into collision issues.
Where did you say you were? In the
southwest? These caves are going to get just so much love from me. This is going to be super silly. There it goes. Okay, now it's going. Maybe it was just glitchy.
Oh, is it the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, can act funny at times. Thankfully, it blows up more easily now. Yeah. See it. There it goes. Oh, rolling and stuck.
But now we can. It's no fun if it doesn't by itself. You got to interact with it. That way, it's your fault when it breaks. There it goes.
Yeah. Oh.
Will it take out the frogs? That's the real test.
It's a pretty big ball. Yeah, I'd be no frog. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Just because I like frogs too much. What do we do with these caves, though, huh? That's interesting.
I started putting bats in it, and I was like, I don't know if I can get away with that. That might be copyrighted. Let's because I think one of the things that's really amazing is that once instructors start to kind of play with this stuff, the students kind of go, wait, you play these games? Like, no. Well, I mean, yes, I do play them as well. It's kind of a thing, right? But they kind of get gravitated. And you get these people that just like they're little people because they're students, is a word, right? Give or take their age, but they gravitate towards you in ways that you really weren't expecting. Like it's really entertaining. Years of working in the games industry, you go talk to. You go to a party or whatever, and the kids find out that you work on games. You're like, "Oh, I got this cool game idea," and you're like, "I bet you do." Like that's the thing, right? And Fortnite Creative really kind of expands upon that. And you're like, "Oh, well, let's actually build that and like make that a thing, right?" And then the teacher surprises them with like, "Hey, by the way, you can turn this in as an assignment." Students go crazy with it. Like it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the thing. I think Brian Kelly, who is a great educator and also contributor to lesson plans and stuff, was talking about some of the lessons he's done, and other people have been like, bragging about being the coolest teacher for, he's one of them, but that because they make lessons in Fortnite and Minecraft and all these other cool games where the kids love to be, and why not create something that you want them to learn in a place where they want to be?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're not too far from each other here. We should give ourselves some vehicles. There's all kind of vehicles in Fortnite Creative. There's settings too. You could change the time of day. You could set camera filters.
Oh yeah, we were playing with the camera filters, or rather, you were playing with the camera filters, and I was
I
trying to
was
not have a
yeah,
seizure.
I was inflicting the camera filters on you. Yes, got this cool film noir black and white vibe. And then there is this horror movie, which is super grainy. And wait,
Oh
I
my gosh,
think
yeah, look at the contrast.
I just picked
Oh
comic.
wait, this is like Toon Shader. This is cool.
Yeah, that's comic. I mean, if it's a horror comic, then there you go. There, horror movie. Yeah, got that color, kind of grainy too. Looks pretty good on mine. I think my rendering is actually looking quite nice. That's the other cool thing too, right? Is that you're in a beautiful environment that's really really rich. Like the reward you get from your work is pretty huge. Like being able to create these huge buildings and stuff like that very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Very quickly.
And like this guy here, you can take stairs, do whatever you want with them. Yeah.
And one of the things that I really enjoy about it too is that it really allows you to build on just game mechanics. Because there's so many people out there's like, I don't necessarily want to learn a 3D program to build all this stuff and put on the textures and make it look pretty. I'm like, I just want to build, I want to get my idea across. So it really turns into a tool for ideation very quickly for game design processes.
Oh yeah. And you can have 50 islands in your account, and have them saved. You can back them up. There's all kinds of utilities and tools, so you can create a backup, restore it. If you have a code where you can publish, if you have a creator code, you can publish your islands and receive updates on how they're being used and things like that. And when you do that, you'll create descriptions, put in tags and a thumbnail photo and things like that. So that's part of the publishing process. Which we're on Wednesday, we're going to talk about a Minecraft project that we have in the works, and share some of like how that's working. And then this is kind of helpful to see some of the details, final push through the finish line. You got to come up with your descriptions, your thumbnails, finish things out, make it look professional, make sure you tested it, things like that. Beans.
There you go.
All right, dude. I think that was pretty fun. I think we mission accomplished. Hopefully
Yeah,
other people do similar things.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. This is like super cool to see the community growing. So
Yeah.
very awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and tag us at Cleverlike if you create anything. Definitely good for a retweet or like on there. We'd love to see what you're working on, and you can find us on lots of Discord servers. There's a Discord server for Fortnite Creative, as well as Unreal Engine, so you can find us on there. And look forward to hearing from you and seeing if we can help you out in the future. we can slide on in and help you out.
Yo.
I know there's going to be so many new games coming out with sliding. It's going to be fun.
You can turn direction while you're sliding too. Oh man, these games, I'm going to abuse these.
Yeah, I mean you can use weapons too while you're sliding, which is pretty wild.
You had like a sliding shooting gallery. Like, oh
yeah,
have to be sliding.
Oh yeah, that'll be a thing. Oh, I wonder if the mutator zone can detect sliding. There's a mutator zone that detects kind of players and objects and whether you're emoting or not, which is fun. So you could with a mutator zone, you could make someone dance in order to advance to the next level. Dancing, which is fun. So lots more to learn. There is a really cool website I'll post if you're still here and still hungry for more stuff. The Fortnite Creative documentation website is really super cool. In the chat. That's Epic's Fortnite Creative documentation. It's got tutorials, all the reference documentation, all these other details, videos, and things like that. So it's a really good thing to check out as well. So check it out.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. So on our way out, I'm going to play the trailer for our hour of code one more time, and then we'll sign off. Thank you all for joining us. Join us tomorrow for the hour of code in Minecraft. Wednesday is the solar vehicle competition project that we have in the works. You're going to see a live kind of in progress project. And then on Thursday, we're going to have a lot of fun programming robots inside of Unreal Engine. So make sure you join us for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for joining, everybody. Gatlin, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we'll see everyone next time. See ya.